So how do we start to live with less? Change our shopping habits, or just purely look at the way that you currently consume? Karen and I go live every Friday and we chat home organization, decluttering, tips and tricks to help you sometimes live with less, but more to ensure that you use those items that you currently own. And I think that's one of the key things, especially in our current world, is the most responsible thing that you can do is to use the things that you already own and have. All those things that you constantly store that may or may not be used. It's not to say you're never going to buy anything again, because with some of the things I have got up to this week, I have probably blown my whole shopping budget. So slightly more extreme than normal. So Karen will join us live. Hopefully she is nearly ready to come in, and yeah, then we will chat all things shopping, habits, storing things, and then how we go about getting rid of bits and pieces potentially in our homes. So hello to people that have joined. Nice to see you guys. Karen and I had a photo shoot yesterday, so it was quite fun. She was doing some marketing bits and pieces for her own business, the Organising lady. And as we are two birds organised doing our Friday thing, we thought that we would get some headshots done together. So very funny day. We ended up grabbing some lunch, going for a shop, and yes, going for a shop that was unplanned. What started out as some gift buying ended up into buying too many things, and so it's a really, really great way to now go through some of the thought, looking at habits that actually I've not done for quite a while. And often for me, sometimes it's easy for me to stay away from shops because I am a bit of a marketeer's delight. Hello. You have got a new purchase on too.
I have. And which one? Oh, I see. You've got that lovely loose top. I hate it that I can't see without my glasses, as much as I love them. Oh, that looks really nice. You happy with it?
Yeah, I love it.
Excellent.
Do you like it?
I love it.
Okay.
I know we were looking, weren't we? And I was like, I'm just going to look a bit closer. No, but it looks so pretty. It's lovely. And the sleeves are just amazing, aren't they? So you're going to wear it to death. Excellent. Well, funny enough, I ummed and ahed over this jumper when I got home, and I loved the intensity of the colour. And then my husband said, oh, no, I really like it. And the thing that I thought he would like, he liked less. So, yeah.
Interesting. Which we can touch on, of whether you buy stuff for yourself or for others.
Oh, totally. Yeah. And I don't know. All right. You say. You tell.
All right.
My cup of tea.
Perfect. Well, I think a big thing to touch on perhaps is from this week, I have realized how much I actually am a marketeer's delight. I mean, I do know that. And I am often wooed by things. Yeah. So for me, I know, and I mean, I'm a big on control anyway. If I simply don't go to the shops, I don't buy anything.
Yeah.
And then when you go to the shops, I often get enticed into buying things. Now, I do have a list, and I do have a wish list of things that I would like, need, sometimes even want. But most of it actually fits my lifestyle. So the impulse shopping thing is interesting. So it's recently been my birthday. I had a little bit of money to spend on some birthday gifts. So one of my things was I needed a pair of shoes, needed a pair of boots, particularly a pair of boots, right? And so I bought a beautiful pair of shoes. Now, this obviously had me going in and out of shops. I didn't look at much online because I didn't want to be enticed by other stuff. And but by going in and out of shops, and I am good at browsing. Normally I'm very good at browsing, but I literally have been on a spending roll. Now, I'm now then...
Not just yesterday.
This is like closet confessions for someone who is constantly, the most responsible thing you can do is use the things that you own, which is totally how it is. Anyway,
oh God.
Anyway, interesting. So from what escalated from buying one pair of boots
went into buying 4 pairs of shoes as a total. Okay. So there's this again
How many?
thing.
4?
Yes.
Okay.
We didn't talk about this yesterday.
If I had known that, I wouldn't have let you anywhere near the trainers yesterday.
I have a pair of winter trainers on my list still, because
Yeah.
I put my white trainers away for the winter. So, you know, it's all relative. Now, one person's volume is very different to someone else's volume. One person's budget is very different to someone else's budget. One person's space, also different. And the other thing is, in terms of lifestyle, is also very different. Now, I don't save anything for best. So all of my clothes need to have multiple uses and multiple purchases. And that's not a justification, but it's, I know how much I use my items, how I turn my stuff over, and what I use, what I don't use, and how I rotate and use my own things. You know, as you know, I have got things in my wardrobe that I still wear that were pre-children. So it's talking 16 years old that still fit me, that I still like, that occasionally do get used. So yes, anyway, so the impulse shopping thing. Simple tips on that is unsubscribe from emails. I'm good at that. The online shopping doesn't really work for me because I don't like the whole cycle of it. I need to touch fabric, see fabric. I'm very tactile. I need to, as you saw yesterday, literally get undressed in the middle of the clothes, giving everyone an eyeful of half naked Narelle in the shop, just going, try it on, try it on, try it on. Yes. Interesting.
It was good though. I think what was so I literally went into client mode and started showing you things, because obviously I take people shopping, and then I was so happy. It made me so happy that I was as well presenting you with things like, would you like look at this? So it was quite useful, wasn't it? Because we were talking about different ways to wear things. Did you decide to keep the prairie dress you bought? It went into your shopping trolley? You're going to keep that and you like it, yeah?
Yeah,
because it looked lovely.
Yes.
So that's really nice. So then the top that you're wearing, it was like you hadn't thought about necessarily putting something under it.
No.
So that's good. But see, I actually remember people like my mum. I remember her wearing dresses like that, and so it's you know, it's just a different slant. But we were lucky. There was actually some really nice things. But I think that's the other thing is you and I both we really know what we like, and I literally can look down a rail, and I know a lot of people get overwhelmed in TK Maxx. So it's not my favorite way of shopping. My favorite way to shop is to see something in a shop, feel it, like you're saying, touch it, make sure that I like it, and then usually I will try and buy it on eBay. And that is like my absolute go-to, and that would be my top tip to anyone. The things I've managed to snag, like things that have been like 300 quid and stuff like that. So I got a really lovely Belstaff jacket last year, which I got on eBay, but the girl had sent it to Vestiaire Collective. It had all of their assessment on it, what they thought that it would sell for. It obviously hadn't sold. She'd clearly got it back and thought, oh, sod this, I'll put it on eBay. And I got it, you know, at literally a snip. I think it was like 60 quid. And it was a really expensive jacket. So that, for me, is the way to shop. But what I do like about TK Maxx is, I know it's not 100% sustainable. However, it's stock that is end of. And what's going to happen to it otherwise, you know? So if you are lucky enough, like we were yesterday, I mean, I thought you did amazingly well in terms of, you know, what we kind of found for you. So tell me what you're keeping. It's a lot.
That's serious closet confessions. Okay, let's just touch on that in terms of, because you've talked about actually a few things before we talk about my shopping habits. Now, the secondhand market, 100%, because that often should be a thing of, can I borrow this item? Can I get it secondhand? The whole beauty of the secondhand market, and there is absolutely should be no stigma attached to it at all, is that you can just be the custodian of something for now. You can pass it on. Something that might have a relatively low value could have multiple lives that will far exceed the cost of that item. So that's a really good way of looking at things as well. Now, saying that, I'm wearing a pair of jeans that I got in a charity store. These ones are J brand that I think I picked up for a tenner in my local charity shop. Now, I obviously do like a bit of denim. Denim is probably one of the most, let's say, non-responsible type of product in the market because of the amount of water that is used in it, and often dyes that are not natural dyes. So denim is questionable within the world regardless. And then the second-hand thing is obviously key, because after our shopping spree yesterday, as we had talked about, I already had weeded out some things in my wardrobe. But what I came home and did immediately was went to my cupboard, went, right, what is leaving this space? Now, in terms of price point, budget, things like that, yes, I had a few things in my head that I was wanting. What I didn't have was a budget in mind, and I don't tend to personally work on a budget for a season, which some people do. So I was not necessarily price resistant yesterday, which is not necessarily a good way. But right now, I've got plenty of things I totally could be saving for, but I chose not to. But again, it's all opportunity cost with, I think, anything that we choose to buy. And we can touch on that a little bit more. So what I promptly came home and did, and I've got a couple of big ticket items ultimately that I don't need, both within my house, my wardrobe, sorry, and my daughter's wardrobe. Things like, for instance, we talked about our denim jumpsuits that we were wearing. I've got a whole another jumpsuit here that easily I can get rid of for, I would say, 100 quid. So that is one thing that can go immediately. Again, a pair of high-end jeans, same brand, that will go, that have been worn once or twice, that were my daughter's, that just no longer fit her. Another jumpsuit again. Now, this is obviously a strapless summer version.
No, not the set. We wear.
This one's the Olivia.
The Olivia, yeah.
This one's the Olivia. So these I'm going to list, and those
I actually
ones
have that in black, and I'm selling mine as well. Funny enough.
Perfect. Now, the other big ticket item that's in my wardrobe that we've actually discussed a couple of times is this beautiful Amanda Wakely dress. Now, this one we've talked about in terms of, I wasted my money the day that I bought this. Now, I bought it in advance of an occasion. We go to quite a few sort of dressed up black tie type occasions. At the time I bought this, I was probably, again, I can be a little bit weight sensitive. My weight can fluctuate literally by 5 kilos in a matter of 2 months, depending on where I am just in life. Now, I bought this dress with the intent to buy it. Now, every time I went to put it on, it just didn't feel right. So it was completely, oh my God, what a bargain. I put it on. It is beautiful. The fabric is gorgeous. It is a nice fit, but actually I don't feel amazing in it. And I like my clothes. I want, pretty much, I like clothes that make me feel amazing. And whether it's because I like to be a little bit sassy, you know, the same as this.
I think you do. Perhaps. I think exactly that. And
this, I probably need, you know, boobs 4 cup sizes bigger to actually fill out this, and it's just a lot. Now, interestingly, yesterday we touched on this contrast for me, which doesn't work. And
the see-through. I'm not a fan of that either.
Now, it's interesting because I do have some things that are see-through all over, and see-through all over is okay. But again, it's just working out your own thing. But that in itself, so although I only bought it for £100, and I think the retail price, Amanda Wakely's subsequently gone bust, I think the retail price on it was something like £1,000.
Wow.
Now, exquisite, beautiful, everything. I already have a friend who is interested in that, so that will go. We looked at some things yesterday. Remember, I didn't buy a jumper, but I bought some polo necks. So this Wise London jumper, again, it's been on my back 3 times. It's going. Because actually,
they go really well on eBay as well.
Exactly. So these are items straight away. This actually is a vintage needle and thread jumper. So needle and thread were doing dresses for a long time. This is one of their first bits of knitwear that they ever did. We're talking easily 6 years ago.
Yeah.
And then they stopped doing knitwear and going out. Now, every time it's beautiful, but again, going back to this voluminous, oversized, I'm looking at ultimately a look and a style that isn't what my lifestyle is right now, or where I see my lifestyle going. So even though this is beautiful, it gets lots of lovely comments and all the rest, every time I wear it, it doesn't make me feel great. Now, this is where, in terms of it has served its purpose with me, I try and use it. But actually, there is no point in me holding on to this, although it's, yes, the most responsible thing to do is to keep this, to wear it. It is navy.
Yeah.
And it's exquisite. It's beautiful. And it's a really thick, heavy thing. I overheat in it and all the rest. So I pulled out quite a handful of different things. Now, I've got no shoes to get rid of because I do cull my shoes relatively, relatively regularly.
Yeah.
These are the new boots that I bought with my birthday money. Beautiful. And then the other shoes that I bought are all very, very different shoes. Now, these were, again, a local store to me. They're all Robert Clergery. And I have just recently got rid of some summer shoes. And so I knew I had a slight gap in the market, gap in my wardrobe.
Yeah.
Occasion dressing, I just did however many nights at Henley Festival. We've got lots of sort of entertaining different things on, and I know my black high heels that I've currently got are nearly at the end of their life. So this is very much a sort of clergery heel.
Yeah, wow.
They're quite unique in terms of what they were. Now, for me, in terms of price point, I have
danger money for those, girls.
Well, these cost me £50. Now, I'm not planning on selling them. I use my shoes literally are with me until they're properly no more.
Yeah.
And I resell, as I'm pretty high in maintenance. Now, for me, it wasn't a matter of, I would never have purchased them at £470.
Yeah, wow.
Now, it was not wooed by that at all. However, at £50, there is no way that I would have bought a pair of shoes like that anywhere else that will probably last.
How often have you worn those, Narelle?
I bought them 2 days ago.
Oh, right. Sorry, so you haven't worn them, right?
I haven't worn them. So this other pair of shoes that I didn't even know that I wanted. Now, this was an Instagram. Looking at it, it popped up. And actually, I've bought lots of my different pairs of shoes. I bought Vejas down there for 50 quid. I will happily buy stuff at a price that I know if I really, really made the wrong purchase, which is very, very rare for me, actually, instantaneously. It might be in 2 years' time because you want to buy into a trend and try a trend. Saying the same as that monthly jacket that I'm to list. So they're all sitting here on a rail for everything to be listed, and I just need to do it. So that's my weekend chore. So before any other ticket comes off anything, I've got to have listed all of this. So these are the other ones that I bought. Again, a clergery pair, and again, this chocolate brown trend. Now, I was like, oh, they look really interesting. Now, again, would I have actively gone, I need a brown pair of shoes like this? No, I didn't even know they existed. But actually, I'm really, really pleased with that. I am a shoe in a bag person, as you know.
They look super comfy as well.
Okay, and then the last pair is I buy out of season. And I buy out of season.
Yeah, me too.
So that it stops me sometimes going to the shops to look for something, or for an event occasion when you're looking for something that you just simply can't find. And then sometimes you actually end up spending or throwing a lot more money at something for something that you didn't necessarily want. So again, I had looked at these shoes.
30.
I had looked at them, again, never on my radar in terms of price point, saw them and was like, actually, and I had seen another pair very similar in Stella McCartney, and I had been umming and ahhing about them. So actually...
Are they to Martins?
No. These are, again, clergery.
All right. Yeah, I thought they were more chunky, so it's useless without my glasses. No, they're really nice.
So, but they'll go away. So we're going warm somewhere for half term. And I've obviously been through my wardrobe quite ruthlessly recently. And things do have a life. Now, the shoes are all keeping. If we just quickly go on to the shopping thing again. So one of the things that came in that is 100% staying, and I showed two girlfriends today who I often go out for dinner with and things like that, was a dress. And again, buying occasion wear dresses. Now, recently having made this mistake, which...
That's too grown up for you.
I think I was buying into something that actually wasn't me.
Yeah.
And that's, it's taken me now, I bought it February last year.
Yeah.
And it's in, out. I think I want to wear it. And for me as well, it's far too, for me as a black tie thing, it's totally black tie. But for me, I like a real sort of wow showstopper, whereas that's very glamorous, but not me. Anyway, so this is the dress that you threw at me yesterday. I was like, oh my God, I need that dress. Now, again, a brand I would not necessarily have bought into. Okay, and then this is like a little shimmery, can't really see it, gold and black sequiny number.
It had your name written on it.
You know,
totally
just above knee length. And I know I can dress this up, dress this down. This is probably going to be worn easily 5 times before Christmas and feels a very big hole. I didn't buy any sort of these kind of party dresses, I'd say, for the last 2 years probably. So for me, I'm very excited about that. The rest of the things I bought was quite basic, that I'm 100% keeping. So things that were on my list, my favorite shade of red.
Yeah, nice.
Favorite, a roll neck, does not exist in my wardrobe. This black one, perfect in terms of I happily wear this to work. So for me, I like that sort of little bit of an edge, which is great. And then the last couple of things were still questionable in terms of whether I'm keeping them. I just seem to have thrown 2 tops somewhere on the floor that we also picked up. Don't know where they are. 2 little tops that were, oh, here.
The cashmere roll neck, sleeveless, wasn't it?
Yes, so good basic layering. So something like this, interestingly, I would have probably gone somewhere like Folke or Walford and looked to get something like this.
I think like 150 quid.
Yeah, before I thought about it. And I think this cost me £13. Now, interestingly, the brand, quite a few of the things that we got here yesterday were Scandi brands. Now, when you look at somewhere like TK Maxx, okay, so let's talk about sustainability and ethics and where you choose to shop. Now, the business model of what's called TJ Maxx owns TK Maxx and HomeSense. The idea of these places are end of lines, dead stock, or perhaps sometimes stock that simply didn't work, or items that have been returned. So it's questionable, yes, maybe not sustainable, but the reality is that these stores exist. So how different is it going to Zara, H&M? Like, I think when it comes down to your consumption habits, it's actually really properly processing what these things are. Now, the kitchen gadget company that I used to work for, 4 years ago, they would sell excess stock to there. You can buy Joseph in HomeSense. If you think of the brands that are there, we saw Eve Lom there, Margaret Dabb's items there, those beautiful Ortega things, loads of beautiful brands that you wouldn't necessarily be expecting to see at considerable discounts. So,
but then it's really interesting when you go in them. So where I used to work, we used to supply mobile accessories into them. So I kind of got to know the buyers quite well because very interesting how they come into your business and buy from you. And I think so TK Maxx is like a standing joke for my family. If whatever I'm wearing or whatever, my sister will go, well, where did that come from? TK Maxx. It's just like this thing that they all do and they think it's hysterical. But I mean, like I bought a Chloe coat in there, probably getting on for like 12, 13 years ago. And I had to have it altered, but it was a mega box coat that I would never have been able to have afforded otherwise. And I paid for a tailor to adjust it all for me, and it fits beautifully, and I still have it and I love it. But yeah, the whole kind of, I mean, they make to sell in there. So I think that if you've got like more of a trained eye, if you like, we can pick out the brands. Like you were picking up brands yesterday. It was like that you knew, like more the toiletries. So you immediately saw it was Space NK stock. I'll go in there, and so when Topshop started having struggles, currently the last year they've been picking up quite a lot of Zara in there. There was brands coming through from, sometimes they get like old Primark stock, which is the Atmosphere brand and things like that. So it's really interesting. You can tell a lot about high street trends in there because you will pick up like all the names that you're naming. that they are in there from time to time. I'm just trying to think. It was about 3 years ago, they started getting an awful lot of River Island, and I did think that River Island might go into some form of, like, I don't know, receivership or whatever. But then it seemed to rectify itself. So it's actually, I find it fascinating, because you can learn a lot in that shop if this is, like, obviously it's an area of interest for me.
Yeah, definitely.
And
well, again, it comes back to margins as well. You know, it's things like yesterday seeing all those beautiful shirts in the shirt company ones that were in there. You know, again, and it's being aware of nice quality fabric and looking at the margins. So knowing that bigger stores, what they're taking the cut on it, because for TK Maxx to buy it wholesale from the wholesaler and then sell it at a reduced price, you know, the margins are based on volume. It is just where it is.
They literally skin you alive as well, when I think what they used to pay for
100%. But for those manufacturers, they are getting rid of stock. So where is it going to go to? Is it going to go to landfill? But, you know, again, I think in terms of general consumption, it was just very apt, because yesterday, so you took on that role of, you were going to spend my money. I didn't give you a budget, but I was up for shopping. Okay, now really interesting.
What percentage of stuff did I find you? I think you'll find it's over 50-60% of your items purchased.
Exactly. So, and again, it was really interesting, because we're different sizes. You were looking at stuff and then you were like, oh, I like that. Oh, not my size. And then I'd be like, oh, hello, I didn't even see that. So this top in question, actually, now again, looks like a shapeless bit of nothing, but it looked amazing on, didn't it?
Mate, the colour is so good on your complexion. I need to get the brand name of that off you, because I want to start doing a search for that.
Yeah, well, again, Majestic Filatures, whatever it is, some Parisian brand. But again, when you're looking at this, cotton, cashmere and silk. Again, hello. It
just looks so good. You could just literally, I love it that I'll kind of look down a rail and I can touch, because my mum did textiles and embroidery and all that stuff, so I kind of am used to looking at beautiful fabrics. I love interiors fabrics and all that kind of stuff, so I just have a whale of a time when I'm in there, whereas other people hate it.
Yeah. So anyway, we've now gone into a shopping hall as opposed to living with less, but very, very funny. And then the last two were the coats. We'll just touch on the coats. Okay, so this, in terms of, you know, I love a fur generally, and I love a vintage fur, and this brand is actually a gorgeous brand. Now, I obviously got rid of one of a pink coat a few weeks ago, and this is this brand, I think it's just called Jack, Jakke, free from fur, and actually a really lovely ethos in terms of this company. So it really is in terms of looking at where those gaps are in your wardrobe and where they're not. The other jacket, again, I came home, my daughter was totally, I would wear that, I will have that. And, you know, it's again, in terms of looking at ensuring that it's going to be part of your life, because obviously as soon as you spend something, you've already wasted the money. It doesn't matter how much you got something for on sale. If you're not going to use it, or it's not going to be something that works very, very hard for your life, then it's questionable whether you should actually have it or not. Now, by getting things home, yes, is it the same as online shopping? Potentially. But you just have to think in terms of the transport in, out and thing. And even today, so the bags, for instance, that we picked up, neither of us had intended to shop. We could have walked out with things in our hands. I turned around and remember I did this transaction of, oh, that bag's broken. I don't want that bag. Swapped it for another. And I was like, no, I don't want the bag. She's like, oh, it's just that one. It's fine. That bag is broken today. Now, actually, that's irritated me more that I bothered to spend £1.20. And I know it's, again, all relative value. And this is really silly because I think we touched on this last time we talked about living with less, is what is your actual value. And I think if you can understand what you expect from products, it also helps you change your purchasing habits as well to an extent. So for me, when something basically doesn't last, I then question and go back to that, that's just a waste of money. Like what the point? Whether it's £1.20 or whether it's £100, it still has that intrinsic value of, for every hour that you work, well, you can just fritter that away. And, you know, putting a value on something it's very, very hard, isn't it?
That's just, they must have had just a job lot of those bags, that because it hadn't caught quite in the they hadn't caught it, had they, in the binding to seal the seam.
Yeah, definitely. Now,
will you repair it?
No, I'll return it because I've got some things that I'm going to return, and I'll totally return that bag and just be, it's not fit for purpose. Sorry. Like,
yeah, perfect.
And I mean, I have no issue in terms of doing that. And then again, this is where it comes down to, yeah, totally, it's £1.20, but actually it's not fit for purpose. And I'm just using that as a minor amount. Now, one of those items that we bought, remember, I sat there and I was like, I'm not sure about this. I love it, but there's just something wrong. I could easily fix that and tweak it. And that could be why that is been discounted, because there was a fault in the manufacturing process of it. So rather than create dead stock, they've sold it cheap. Could have been.
No, I just happen to know, because obviously I live there for all my storage and stuff, but with those bags, they actually get those manufactured specifically. So what I reckon is the machine's just been set up incorrectly, because they do the Christmas ranges, they have all these different ranges. Some of them have actually become quite collectible. There's one that they did with the lips on, which I know a lot of people wanted that, and they sell actually for about £4 on eBay.
Yeah, just that run was dodgy, but you know, I don't need it. I didn't really want it.
It's just, but I totally hear you. So what are you going to return besides that bag?
So I think I'm going to return. I'm actually umming and ahhing on this, although I love it and I'd been looking at this brand. Is this what I would have chosen? Now, the pink thing that I easily let go of the other week, right? So it's, again, quite voluminous in terms of an item to store. And remember, as I left, I even said to you, this is a whole bag of stuff that now has to come into my life. Now, this whole process, and I kind of let myself roll with it yesterday, whether I'm returning it or not. But it's really good sometimes for us as organizers to go through that process of properly questioning people's habits, people's consumption, that whole, where is this going? The more I own, the more I've got to look after, the more I have to repair, the more I have to clean, you know, and all of those things are generally very, very misaligned with my current principles of going out and doing what we'd call a haul. Now, I don't tend to drip feed things. Like, I might occasionally be out with a girlfriend, be like, oh, see a dress and fall in love with a dress and know I've got an event coming or not an event coming, or where there's a gap in my wardrobe. Now, future, current, and things like that. So this one is questionable. This one is this camo one. And actually, I had...
Sorry, who found that for you?
You! Okay, so you basically...
This is the one that you love, yeah?
This is the one that you threw at me, right? But I must have, again, I walked around the shop for like 20 minutes in it, didn't I? With people going, oh, nice jacket, nice jacket. Now, you can subliminally, same with the girlfriends that came over this morning. Oh, nice jacket, things like that. So I could be wooed into, actually, who am I dressing for? Someone else or myself? And this is, again, going back to how we just touched on before. What are you doing? How does it make you feel? Not the perception of something else. So different jeans on today, skinnier jeans. But I'm just not sure with all my other jackets whether I would, like, if it was freezing cold now, would this be the first thing that I'd want to grab?
Yeah.
And that's what I just don't know. Although it's beautiful and it could totally come into my house, and I love a jacket collection. Even that, I'm like, is this a jacket that I can see myself living in forever? Now, interestingly, the fabric, you can't really see here, but it's like a sort of jacquard. Yeah, it's a jacquard sewn upholstery fabric. Really interesting in terms of colors. Everything about it is like, you were drawn to it, I was drawn to it. Really different, but I don't know. So anyone that's on, like the jacket, don't like the jacket, I don't even know myself.
Well, my vote is I really like the jacket, and I just, out of the two, I just think you'd get so much wear out of that. You would look completely different, and I could see you like working it with lots of things. The other thing is, did you say Gemma loved it?
This one, no. This one she didn't like at all. The other one she was up for. Now, the other one was actually, that was similar, was a jacket that was for both of us. Now, the other jacket was, I think, we probably had that, I think actually she was at the junior school. I remember a picture at the junior school. So that's at least 4 years old. I'm giving that to charity. It's in good condition, can go to the charity store, and that's fine. So I'm happy with that. Both of these would have a resale value if that's what I was wanting to do. But I don't tend to buy clothes knowing that they've got a resale.
No, sure.
Because for me, they need to fit my life. Now, this is that big teddy bear coat. Very, it again has a lovely drape. I don't know. And again,
I think you were swayed by that because you knew the brand, you'd seen it on somebody, and I think that was at the point, like just observing yesterday, that was the connection. And you, like you were saying to me, what do you think? Oh, I've just got rid of a pink coat. Oh, if it had been blue, I think were your words.
That was the other puffy one. Remember, I tried on another one because I'd seen a blue one that I'd missed out on in one of the charity stores, which again, I probably would have bought anyway. But it's this whole, so these are very much now sleeping on decisions. The tags are not coming off. I bought them slightly out of season. We've got relatively mild weather here now, so I can kind of sleep on it. All of the other items, the dress, the t-shirts, the polo necks, all complete gaps in my wardrobe, which is great. And again, in terms of
little cashmere polo neck, you will just wear that forever. It's sleeveless, isn't it? So it will go under loads of things. It will go even under a dress.
Yeah, exactly. Now, again, we talked about that yesterday. So my normal go-to is not to do a layered type item, but I can see, and again, whether it's a moment in time of my life right now, as well as I'll just be wearing less cashmere inside, perhaps, than normal. So
it looked beautiful on you. How much was that one?
Not much, and that was cashmere, wasn't it? £20.
£20, that's what I thought.
So for a lot of these basics, ridiculous, like I would, again, going back to this, and it's not a matter of going, well, this, if I'd bought this, the price point that I was willing to invest in that doesn't mean that I needed 4 more items, so it's a really hard, it's a hard balance. And I think that comes back to how you align things with your principles. We discussed sizing, even things like that there yesterday. That was, again, a really interesting. And I think when you shop with someone else, to have someone's point of judgment, to question the fit, whereas say you don't know that, for instance, I'm quite a sweaty body and I have a real issue with my arms generally of things being tight. So as soon as anything constricts me, like I'm like, nah, can't do that. I have to have something that's too big. But then we tried on different things and we were both like, totally doesn't suit you, swamps you. And having the voice of reason, not just shopping, but going through things that you own or clearing out stuff or replacing stuff, just gives you that additional vote of confidence sometimes to do things differently to how you would have done before. And I think, like yesterday, for that, I have a lot of clothes in my wardrobe that use a lot of very similar, I have a very formulaic style. So a couple of these have just added to my style and just tweaked my character, bring, a little bit more of the energy that I've currently got.
You said yesterday, oh, I'm looking at and trying on things I would never normally, which I think was quite nice as well, because it's nice to kind of have that moment where you, not refreshed is not the right word, but it's just like you're saying, down a different road and just maybe something different. So just to consider something different. And that's what sometimes someone else who knows what they're talking about, can bring to the party. I actually go shopping with someone occasionally and they tell me that something looks great. I bring it home and my husband, who is actually brilliant at knowing what suits me, will say to me, what? And I'm like, but they said it was nice. And he's like, oh God. If they ever say that to you, just don't ever buy it. So I think, but still, it's so easy to get suckered in. So I think it's important to have someone that you kind of, if you're shopping together and you're shopping, to help the other one, that you do get to know them really well, think about shape and stuff.
And obviously the journey I've had with my hair as well, so I think, again, all of that kind of gives a different personality sometimes to the everything. Complexion. Definitely. But say, interestingly, red was great on me regardless. So obviously my skin tone, it does really work. The same with, totally, I have had my colors done previously. And of course, no one should be wearing black, but I wear black and I love wearing black.
Yeah.
So,
what were your colours when they did your colours?
you know, I probably have got the little book here. Ta-da! Just like that. I am spring. The colours of spring. And I think I am clear, bright, warm and light. I've got the little book somewhere that, you know, I kind of, there are certain elements. So like, I think this color red is totally in there. There's some yellows, cobalt blue, which I do totally love. There is a red for everybody. But again, whether it was hair color or not. Yeah, so anyway, so, you know, lots of things, looking at all of this today, and even the same if you're going through, and again, it's how you live with less, isn't it? So it's that whole, do I need it? Well, some things, yes and no. And the same, you know, we talked about some things yesterday, and I was like, levels of black, and I was like, I know it's not going to wash very well, and it's not going to be black, and then I'm going to fall out of love with it because it's not black, and then I'm going to have to buy some dye, and then I'm going to have to attempt to dye it, and then probably polyester, and it's not going to take, you know. So I go through that noise in my head of justifying purchases. Do I? How urgently did I need all of this stuff? Well, the coat's no urgency there. This, yes, very soon, because I've just packed some red bits away. You know, so you can go through and go, do I need it? How urgent is it? Could I get this secondhand? Possibly, now that I'm aware of the brand. But again, knowing this type of body that I'm as, there are certain things, the way I wear my clothes, and I wash my clothes a fair bit as well, responsible or not, that's questionable, but I'm generally a hot-bodied person, and I need my clothes to be fresh, and airing them doesn't do that. You know, as you know, like I use salt crystals, I use the most uninvasive deodorants, and all my products are relatively neutral. So I'm just obviously a fragrant little body. So do I own something similar? No. You know, go through all of that. I don't. There is nothing like this currently in my wardrobe. And I think actually everything that we bought yesterday, there's nothing that I've come home and gone, oh, I bought 4 more pairs of black trousers. You know? But those things that were sitting here that I know I'm not using. So if I was to go and buy another chunky knit, remember we looked at a couple of things yesterday and I put them all on, and you were like, each time we were like, oh, let me just try them on. No. Could have bought it, but it was like, no, wasn't it? No. So, and the same with, you know, this lovely little Wise comfy thing. Bizarrely, you know, this was an end of lockdown purchase. Again, I don't do casual wear. I just don't. I'm not. Someone said that to me the other day, and she was laughing at me. Had said something because, you know, on my other Instagram handle, I do this like picture a day every now and then. She's like, you just get dressed and then get changed. I'm like, nah. I wear that the whole day. She goes, surely you just must go and like put your leggings on. I was like, no. I said, because when I do that, I pack on the weight. That is just how I am, because then I get comfy and everything stretches. And with this, 2 pairs of tracky bums that I bought, similar stripes down the side, beautiful Lululemon ones. I don't have the same level of energy wearing them. And I don't, my life
well,
is
people
not.
said that through lockdown, didn't they? They just kind of slobbed out and ended up wearing.
I stayed in my jeans the whole time. I just dressed like, but I guess again, it's how you live. And I think it's really trying to understand what your lifestyle is, and knowing, like we were saying, all of these things where it fits. So I think I'm going to, like tomorrow, I don't actually have any massive commitments that I've got to do. I don't think I have got any running around. So I think I'm going to wear my prairie dress, because why not? But again, I may as well, and I'll wear them with my new boots. So I'll get aware of those. And so, you know, that's straight away, that's going to be worn and good. Great. How will I store all of this? Well, I have got space to store it, and I've just taken out, as you've seen, a whole chunk of things here on this rail. So that's going to replace like they need to be sold, because otherwise that's just literally hundreds of pounds sitting here on a rail, which again is not great. Could I borrow it? I always offer my clothes to friends. There's a girlfriend, actually, I'm altering a dress for her today. Her dress is exquisite, and I'm like, I'm totally borrowing that when I need that dress. I've got no problem asking mates to borrow different things as well, because we don't always need everything that we have. And then what's the value? Now, you know how I went through that. I've got a little bit of birthday money left, So 3 pairs of those shoes were birthday money. So, you know, it's got to, well, it's all relative how you spend your, like, choose to spend your money. I had some money in a PayPal account, and I was like, okay, that's hours worked. So I went through all of this with you, didn't I? It wasn't that we looked through the pile, and pretty much most of the stuff that went in, not really much came out, did it?
No.
But I do feel that we consciously chose the right things, didn't we?
I think so. I mean, just listening to you now, I think that the 2 coats need to go back. I just think no more conversation, because I've kind of probed a little bit and said, oh, I think you'd wear that a lot. You're just not feeling it. And I think rather than umming and ahhing, I think maybe make a decision now and just put them in the bag and get the money back on the bag. Because I think everything else, genuinely, you sparked when you had them on. The pink coat was definitely an influence from somebody that you know, because you'd seen the brand. And the other one, it does look amazing on you, but I think that also if Gemma doesn't like it, it's not like you can share it. And I think that you do with your coats, don't you?
Yeah, absolutely. We're the same size, so it's an easy thing to do. So I will again re-ask her about this, if this is something that she's totally going to wear. Like, I just, you know, I could wear this, but again, it's not even in my overall color palette. So, and I do like, obviously, some tonal dressing to an extent, or without being contrasty, if that makes sense. Because I know, like, obviously this is this prairie dress and I wouldn't wear that with it. We did put the red under it, and actually the red would work strikingly against it. But I'm just a bit, again, influenced by something. And that's why it's fine to try something out, but really properly give yourself breathing time, which is, we've talked about, say, even like Amazon or marketplace purchases. Just check out on a Sunday rather than, oh, I have to have it tomorrow. Sometimes we just add things to a basket.
Yeah.
This, you know, and it's, that impulse is really hard, isn't it? And value wise, I have got a lot of coats.
Yeah, well, you don't need it. You've just answered it. So whack it in the bag and kiss it goodbye.
Yeah, but a really good exercise, again, of going through for people to see that, again, because we were laughing with that whole, again, the living less with more. Totally live with less with more. And I would want this, like some of my, I've got 2 vintage furs, a camel one and a chocolate one, that I will roll out and out and out and out and wear during the day and all the rest of it. And actually that already fills my boots, and I've had them for 12 years already.
Yeah. So that's it. You've got, like, so I've got my favorite staples, and then I've got some vintage, just like sheepskin ones, which I really like, and I've worn them probably since I left school. There used to be an amazing vintage shop in Kingston called Potpourri, and it was in like this little back arcade, and that was where I first saw these coats. And I buy a new one like every 5 or 6 years, and then I sell them on. So someone else buys them and really enjoys them as well. And I just try to buy a new one just because sometimes they wear a little bit, but I literally wear them to death.
Yeah, which is just amazing, isn't it? But, you know, well, anyway, my mission tonight on this weekend is to list all of this. So I think actually next week when we check in, I can tell you what I've listed, what I've sold. Actually, I could probably sell all of this Donna Ida stuff that I've got. 3 big pieces here, 2 jumpsuits, a pair of jeans, probably by the end of this weekend, just on my other page. Yeah, so that will go. And again, in terms of putting things on, put it on at the price to sell, in that your value, it's just whatever your value is. So whatever you're looking to recoup, just be happy with that price. And then when you
what would you pay for it?
Well, exactly, what would you pay for it? And if you don't have the time to, use a third-party reseller. Like, we've got a great lady locally, Polly, and she does all of, you know, for many people, higher end brands generally, because they all get a bigger return. In the end, if you think net of fees, net of everything, you end up getting 50% back of the value. So something like this would probably go for 100 quid. So I could take the time to list it. And again, this is where if I don't do it within the week, it needs to go to somewhere else, because as soon as it's out of the house, you're going to get the money back, but it's done. Because that jumper we talked about 2 weeks ago, and it's still sitting here on the rail because I've not allocated enough time to actually do it. So you know, it's just gathering dust in my house, whereas someone else would love it and wear it.
That's the wise one you're talking about, yeah?
No, that Monthé one, the wise one, I had in my cupboard, and it's been umming and ahhing. And, you know, I occasionally put it on. Again, I occasionally put this wise jumper on at night, but
that will just fly out the door.
Yeah.
Those things fly out the door. So
that will go. Yeah, that
and,
no,
and
it was
the way
this.
that eBay's restructured everything now. So you're you know,
That
like
Monthé
PayPal's
one.
out of the equation. Oh, that one, yeah.
Yeah.
So now your fees have actually dropped a little because it's not running through PayPal now, so it's costing us slightly less. They've parted company, so that's working out a lot better. I mean, my target at the moment is, and I'm listing for clients as well, so I target myself to between 5 and 10 a day, because it does take a little bit longer now. They keep changing the app, which is so frustrating. But
and do you do buy it now, or do you do auctions?
I always do an auction. Yeah. I always start it at what I want it for it.
Yep.
And I realistically think about what I would. I mean, I know eBay really quite well now because I've done it since 2001. I've been reselling and so quite a lot. So I've actually sold. So yeah, I was in the top 10% of private sellers for clothing, shoes and accessories. I have an email from eBay awarding me that accolade.
Wow.
So that was about 3 years ago. So I do an awful lot. And then also, I mean, TK Maxx is my go-to place for if I'm doing personal shopping. I will take people, like, depending on the budget, but if someone needs bang for their buck, and most people like a bargain, you know, like even, you know, you were really excited yesterday. I don't think it's your regular go-to place to shop.
I can't handle rails of unknown.
So many people say that. And that's why it's important to have someone. That's why I feel like I've gone home, because I can literally hone in on things. And I think you asked me a question. I can't remember what it was. You were like, how do you know that? And I was like,
the markdowns, the red ticket.
Yeah. And I just laughed and said, because I know their stock better than they. And genuinely, I probably could go into any store. I mean, God, I find myself tidying up in there even. I'm just turn things around. I'll tie belts on the side so they don't fall off, because I know how irritating it is when you go into shop somewhere and something's missing, and I think, oh, they're never ever going to get their money back. But that's because I've got like a commercial background in many different businesses, and that's just how my crazy head works. So
definitely. And I mean, in terms of when it comes to the economy anyway, not just justification of buying, but people do need to keep buying. We do need everything to keep ticking over, and jobs to happen, and all the rest.
And work hard.
Yeah, it's all relative. And then actually touching on that in terms of discounted sellers, which that is, do remember that places even like Bicester Village, any outlet centres, high end or not, they do make stock specific for special lines to sell there. So don't always be wooed by the fact that you think it is an item that was catwalk, full price, proper stock.
Yeah.
It isn't. There's select
they
items that 100% are. 100%. 100%. But again, it's this false sense of purchasing. And I think that's the other thing, which is why it's the same, because I've had a couple of chats today about this after people putting that yesterday in terms of, oh, wouldn't have thought that would have been your target shopping destination. But again, understanding the model, understanding the brands, and like I was saying, a lot of these beautiful Scandi brands actually have amazing ethos. And this, it doesn't matter whether actually half the labels will say what season they're from as well, because most people have different codes on there that relate to spring, summer, or autumn, winter, and all the rest. And for basics, who's to say that this is 1 year old, 2 years old, 6 months old? Who knows?
No, exactly.
And it doesn't matter if you're buying into a style, not a trend. No. So, yeah. Oh my gosh. So, yeah. So anyway, so that was a total lured in, excitement, good mood, feel good factor, you know, so many things interlinked. Wanting to change my style, looking at lots of things, feeling in a rut. You know, there's so much layered in that I can even reflect on this whole, the shopping experience that I've pretty much had for the last 10 days. So interestingly, those birthday boots, I looked at 3 times over the course of a week. Back forth, tried them on, went in with someone else, sent pictures to this person, that person, not looking for validation. But again, I do generally make very, very conscious purchases, if that makes sense.
And then also you had the moment of, well, you had a couple of moments of guilt as well, where you were like, oh shit, and you were like, well, I'm going to get some money from here, and blah, 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 and you started to kind of mull it over, didn't you? And that's like that going, the thing I think you put in your stories about not having the money necessarily, not you, but just generally all of us. It's like, and that is where the budget, I think, can come in. I think it is good to set a budget at the beginning of the year and say, I'm going to spend, I don't know, whatever it is, 150 quid or £1,000 per year. That's going to be my top end. And how I choose to do that is, you know, and then also trying to, you know, have that one in, one out, or more, you know, more out. Because we are all wearing less. There's no two ways about it. We are a little bit more casual, I think. I know, like, you're always dressing, but for being dressed up, but I think that we have kind of toned it down a little bit because we just weren't going out. So who knows how that's going to look going forward the next 2 years? Well, you know, we just don't know just yet, do we?
Don't know. And I had scribbled some things down, but just touching on that, you were saying that the budgeting element of affording this now, or having a pocket of money that goes to those kind of indulgences, which this ultimately could be, is looking at it, and are you buying into what you as an individual can afford because you're spending the money, and by buying something, like, if you're not saving money, you've already spent the money, so the money is gone. I'm not a person that lives with debt. I don't like to buy things for money that I've not yet earned. So but again, it's that whole association, and again, going back to quality, it's all relative. I'm sure literally everyone that probably listens to this, and you and I, of course, we've bought bits from Zara, we've bought things from H&M, we've bought things from the places that may not be consistent with our beliefs. But that's to say, you can go and buy Persil or whatever other brand that you want in the supermarket. You know, there's so many bits when it comes to manufacture that may be misaligned with your beliefs, and you can't drill down into everything. But I think the thing is that all of it, in terms of, if you're going to buy it, use it. If you're going to keep it, definitely use it, which is why it was easy to then come home and go, you know what, all these things that are coming in, I can't wait to wear all of these things. So I only have so many hours in the day and so many events and so many occasions to wear things. Therefore, some of that stuff can go and someone else can enjoy them, either great value for someone else at the charity shop. And that's really lucky to be able to do that, because I do like to give a lot to charities as well as some items to monetize from, to have my own little circular economy going of things in, things out.
Yeah, totally.
So interesting. Anyway, nice haul. So thanks very much for being like my closet confession. I didn't tell you about the 4 pairs of shoes, did I?
Well, no, you didn't. But I'm just gonna go to my, because we were gonna do
all those tips.
My tip things were, so I think we've covered a lot of it actually. I was going to say, be accountable, and write a budget, which we've kind of covered. Knowing what you have. I mean, I think like someone like you, me, kind of really do know what we have. But as painful as well as it can be, I think writing a list, you know, if you do find that you're a person who overspends or overbuys, and just ends up with too much and you're just not getting around to wear it, then write a list without checking. I think this is quite an interesting thing. And then actually check what you've got and compare, write a parallel list. Because I think that what we think we have and actually what we uncover sometimes is just mind-blowingly different, isn't it? It's like when we were talking about bikinis and I said about, oh, I think I've got this many. I must actually go and count how many I've got. But it's just like those different things. We all know that we've got like those little weaknesses. And yeah, it's about not just topping up and having less. We've covered, haven't we?
Definitely.
Yeah.
And knowing what suits you, isn't it? And like we talked about yesterday, or like my 2 pairs of wide leg wool trousers. I think I had on my stories a week and a half ago as I was unveiling all my winter stuff. Again, items that I've had from before I had my kids, or and one of them were just after I had my first. So 14 years old, 1 pair of, you know, wool trousers, a Joseph pair, and another, I think some Euro brand. I can't remember what it was. But again, beautiful things that are ultimately timeless, that I might not be keen to wear this year, but are perfectly okay to be in storage and okay for another year. So like we were touching on jeans, whether you buy into a wide leg trend now or a skinny jean trend now, like today I've got skinnies on, but I've got boots that are over my knees. So, well, I can't wear a pair of flares with boots over my knees if that's the look that I want to wear today. And it doesn't have to be trend led. And I think the more open you are to owning your style or your character also helps with the way you want to dress or things that you want to keep. Or, you know, even like we're saying, being the custodian of it now, holding on to something that your kids might want and actually use at different points in their lives. And, you know, so many layers.
Brilliant.
Okay, so those 2 coats are going back. Awesome. Thanks for helping me. But again, it's really good. And I hope people have found that useful. And I will cut excerpts of this, I think, and share at different points. Is it's going through that journey of you do need to justify things to yourself as well, because it's very easy to just buy, then it sits there, and then you're like, shit, I didn't take it back. Or why do we buy? Like, you know, again, it's that. It's not, you're not saving anything if you're not using it.
No. Well, I did a little bit. I've done like a little thing on my stories with just 4 15-second things. I've condensed it with the things that I bought and kind of what's going back. So there's some things there like the silky trousers. That was just a reminiscing thing.
What about those trainers then?
Well, I'm kind of umming and ahhing about the trainers, because I bought the trainer to go with the trouser because they just went so well, didn't they? So I've got my bag and stuff sitting here. So these are the ones, and these just reminded me of a pair that I had when I was younger, and those are the trainers because they just went so beautifully. So I've tried the trainers on with a couple of different things, not sure, but they were really good. They were reduced. The sequin top that I bought to go with a sequin skirt totally looked wrong. It was too heavy. It's not the right color for the skirt, but it was a nice try. And it was the reason I wanted that, or I thought I wanted it, was half the price of the ASOS one that I'd been considering to go with the sequin skirt.
And it could have been perfect.
That's going back. This top, which I said to you, I know that I will wear to death, with the long, it's got like the long tie which sort of hangs down the front of each leg. That I'll definitely keep. And this, so I'm just literally keeping that and that, and the belt. And then I bought the 2 gifts, but they're like Christmas gifts for other people, not for me. So that's fine. And I'm really happy with just like just the jumper and just a couple of bits that I got, because they were going to fill gaps, and I got rid of so many jumpers. Whenever it was it about 6 weeks ago we did that thing, might have even been before the summer, and then I did another colour, my jumpers, and I ended up getting rid of like 15, or it was a really huge number. And I'm actually pretty much all of those now are listed on my eBay. I think I've got about another like bag full to do, and then that's it.
Brilliant.
And they'll pay for this one that I really, really like.
Well, that's the other thing with those few things that I told you about will again cover the whole haul. And then I've got a whole stack of money left over as well that will sit in basically a fund that I have for sort of impulse type things between me and my daughter. We share things, and
totally. That's brilliant.
Oh, look, it's gone really dark and I'm like a glow here from this ring light.
So what are you doing the weekend? Tomorrow's a dead day. You've got like nothing on.
Quiet day, moving kids around. I'm going to wear that dress. Oh, actually, I might wear it 2 days in a row. Who knows? And then I'm in London on Sunday, my daughter's birthday party and dinner, and yes.
Amazing.
What about you?
So I'm not sure if I'm going to be seeing my daughter and my grandson tomorrow. I'm just waiting to hear. And what else am I doing? Oh, and I'm talking to somebody, really excited actually. I've been asked to do some styling for
Great.
yeah, so I can't really talk too much about it, but I got a message this morning through Instagram and just asked me if I would be able to help. It'll be like a day's styling for a lucky person.
Congratulations.
Yeah, so that's going to be really nice, actually. It's just interesting that we went out, and I haven't done too much wardrobe work just recently because it's quite up close and personal, isn't it? So a lot of the work I've been doing over the last sort of 6 months has been things like garages, like large moves. Like this morning I was working, and it was a family that were relocating back to the States, and it was my second visit to them, and it was like the final clear out of the stuff, and I had my big van man there.
Beautiful.
And yeah, so that's good. So yeah, I like it when new stuff crops up. So I've just got to wait and see. So hopefully I'll be able to tell you to the affirmative that I've got it next week, which would be great.
It keeps it all fresh, doesn't it? Different people, different lifestyles, you know, all of that is very exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, no, it is. And I want to also, like today, which I know it's not quite the weekend, but today I did like a mentoring visit, which I did as literally a quick whiz back after my job, and met somebody for a coffee who's starting out in a new business, and I love doing stuff like that. So that was really nice as well, and just pass on a bit. It's nice to pass on a little bit of information, and yeah, it was lovely to meet her, so that was cool too.
Oh, beautiful. Motivational. I love that.
Yeah, that's cool.
Oh, we'll have a lovely one. Thanks everyone for joining as well.
Yeah, thank you,
insight into my shopping habits.
Yeah, she's a naughty gal.
It's very rare. It's very rare.
We did
when I do it, I go large, obviously.
All right then.
That's it.
I will see you next week, and I'll talk to you in between.
Fabulous. Anyone got any questions? DM us.
Yeah, totally. Yeah, just let us know.
Fab.
Bye, everyone.
Lots of love. Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.